Caleb Downs, the top player in the transfer portal, is taking his talents to Columbus, Ohio. He is going to be a Buckeye. This is massive for the Buckeyes. This is arguably the greatest recruiting win for Ryan Day since he's been at Ohio State. What does it mean for the Buckeyes? How does Caleb Downs fit? We'll talk about that right now. Buckeye fans, make sure you subscribe right here to the On3 YouTube channel. We talk college football every single day. This show right here, The Hard Count, is on 3 times a week live, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern. But again, we talk college football every single day of the year. So I want y'all a part of this. For Caleb Downs, for him to decide to take his talents out of the southeastern region and to be a part of what they're doing at Ohio State, I think it speaks volumes to the belief that he has and was able to cultivate through the recruiting process with Ryan Day. I think it speaks volumes to what they're doing defensively on that side of the football with Jim Knowles. And the way that he fits, man, like it's funny talking about fit with a guy like Caleb Downs, because regardless of what kind of defense you play, sure, there's some schemes that accentuate his skill set a little bit more than others, and the way they're going to allow him to play in space a bit, I think, is going to be a overall net positive for the Buckeye fans. But when you talk about Caleb Downs, like he fits anywhere. You can always use a Caleb Downs on your roster. He was a tackling machine last year in the SEC. To get on the field at Alabama as a true freshman, much less play in the position group that is most near and dear to Nick Saban's heart, speaks volumes. And then the way that Nick Saban talked about Caleb Downs in his post-retirement interview with Reese Davis, saying it was hard to tell him I was retiring, like that in itself should tell us everything we need to know in terms of the caliber of player that's going to Columbus now with Caleb Downs. And I think the impact here for Ohio State, like you're just adding another key safety to that defense that puts a lot of DBs on the field in Jim Knowles' defense. You add some more flexibility with what you can do on that defense. He's a guy that can get after the quarterback with his athleticism. If you asked him to do that, it's not something that, they was asked to do a lot at Alabama, but I'm sure you could do it at Ohio State with his skill set. Also, he's just great in coverage. I mean, he's got tremendous ball skills. He's going to come up and fill in the run. Like, he's a complete player, is Caleb Downs. Jesse Simonton, who does great work for us here at On3, talked about Caleb Downs and said if they gave out 6 stars when it comes to the recruiting landscape, like he would be a guy that you gave 6 stars to. So, talking about the recruiting win for Ohio State, it has never been more important to finish in the top 5, top 3, whatever, and maintain those relationships with a kid out of high school into their collegiate career. Because you never know when something like this is going to happen and iconic head coach Nick Saban retires. Nobody saw that coming. But when that happened, Ohio State, more power to them, they had a good enough relationship to be in good position to box out and land someone like a Caleb Downs. So what I'm trying to say here is I think it speaks volumes to the way that Ohio State recruits at the high school level and now the way they're recruiting via the transfer portal. Because this is not the only big transfer portal land for Ohio State. Will Howard, they got their quarterback through the portal. Quinshon Judkins, beast of a running back from the SEC from Ole Miss. He's going to be a guy that takes significant snaps for the Buckeyes this upcoming fall. And now landing a guy like Caleb Downs, Ohio State, they got the juice in the portal. And the way that they attack the portal is only going to make them more dangerous when it comes to 2024. Because I'll say this, it really feels like a back-against-the-wall kind of year for Ryan Day. And some people will hear that and say, well, that's kind of putting a negative spin on things, don't you think? Maybe so. I think probably, to put a finer point on it, it just shows there's a sense of urgency. And with a roster like this, and with a defense like this now that was top 10 in the country a season ago, and now you add the best player in the portal, who's going to, I think, even further raise the level of play on that side of the football. Like, that's dangerous. That's dangerous to be able to scratch and claw your way out of a corner and to have the talent to do it with your rival just winning the national championship last year. You haven't beaten them in a minute, and to now have all these players via the portal to make your team better, like, I would be scared if I had to play Ohio State. So Caleb Downs, his impact will be immediate. I mean, all the props in the world to Ryan Day and his staff for getting this done, and all the props in the world to Ohio State for having the resources to get this done. So, Ohio State landing the top player in the transfer portal, Caleb Downs, is headed to Columbus. Make sure you're subscribed right here. College football every single day. Buckeye fans, welcome to the party. We're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.